Schauen wir mal, ob wir das geregelt kriegen. February 24th, 9:41 a.m. District Court Defendant Lobby number 2. So what do you think, Mr. Wright? I think the prosecution is as confused as we are. After all, the victim was murdered in 2 different places at the same time. Was ein bisschen schwer ist allerdings, ja. And a different suspect was arrested at each of the crime scenes. Lana! Good morning, Mr. Wright. Good morning. I apologize for yesterday. I was indisposed. I hope they didn't hold you too long for questioning. We just finished, actually. I'm used to all-nighters, though. So how did it go? It says Mr. Wright suspects the police are clueless. Are clueless? The police are clueless? Is clueless, hätte ich ja gesagt. I figured as much, so I struck a plea bargain. Kann ich sogar noch lesen. Perfekt. Wobei ich das ja kaum sehen kann, ohne Brille. A plea bargain? What do you mean by that? We agreed that if I told them the truth behind this simultaneous murder... Was heißt Wahrheit? They wouldn't seek capital punishment. That's what I mean, Emma. But Lana, don't tell me you... Much to my regret, I'm as much in the dark about this as they are. Miss Guy. We found trace evidence of a certain person in the police department's evidence room. They belong to Officer Jake Marshall. What kind of trace evidence? Bloodstained fingerprints, to be exact. That's the trump card I have up my sleeve today. You do understand what this means, don't you? In order to defend my sister, you're going to accuse Mr. Marshall. We have to play the cards we are dealt. Isn't that right, Miss Guy? Do what you have to do, Mr. Wright. Sieht nicht zu amused darüber aus, komischerweise. Upsa. February 24th, 10 a.m. District Court, Courtroom number 9. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is... I'm afraid you'll have to clarify. Yeah, Mr. Edgeworth, your von Karma is showing. It takes 30 minutes by car to reach the police department from the prosecutor's office. Yet the victim, Bruce Goodman, was slain at both places at the same time. But that's not physically possible, is it? What's more, I hear the victim from the evidence room just disappeared. Yes, and the body eventually reappeared in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Now, this is one messed up trial. Wieso fängt er eigentlich jetzt schon an? Das ist das, was mich gerade ein bisschen, naja. Anscheinend ist er nicht ready, würde er damit sagen. One of my duties as prosecutor is to present impartial evidence. Today I will present evidence relating to the murder at the police department. In so doing, I believe the way in which we should proceed will reveal itself. Now, that's what sets Mr. Edgeworth apart. He sounds so on top of things, even though he doesn't know what's going on himself. And that's supposed to be an admirable trait? Very well, let the trial resume. On the day of the crime, what exactly transpired at the police department? Mr. Edgeworth, you may call your first witness of the day to the stand. For its first witness, the prosecution calls the suspect of the murder that occurred at the police department. The suspect, you mean the so-called murderer. Was er definitiv nicht ist, Mr. Heekins. Oh boy, things are getting wild from the get-go. Ja, Officer Meekins. Sir Meekins. Was ist er? Keine Ahnung. Will the witness please state his name and occupation? Ja, das wäre perfekt. Yes, sir, I'm Officer Meekins, sir. My occupation is, that would be murderer, sir. Yo. So you're telling us you're a professional killer. Sir, it was me, sir. I'm the one who did it. I'll never kill anyone again, sir. You've got to believe me, sir. Actually, what we'd like to hear from you is, sir, I'm what you would call a part of the younger generation, sir. A person whose actions an adult can't possibly comprehend. Please, Mr. Edgeworth, sir, help me, sir. Officer Meekins. Yes, sir. Give us your report of the crime. Consider that an order. Yes, sir. As you wish. After all, I'm part of a generation that must be told what to do, sir. You can't fault him for a lack of enthusiasm. Ich habe ja in dem Fall eher zu viel Enthusiasmus. Wird lustig zu sehen sein, wie er bricht übrigens, wenn wir ihn, wenn wir das Cross-Examen beginnen. Although it's not my normal duty, I was assigned to guard the evidence room that day. I spotted a suspicious man on the security screen and rushed into the room. I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked. I fought for my life, then I did it. Passed out. Yeah, after that I passed out until another officer smacked me awake. So the victim, Detective Goodman, attacked you. Do unto to others before they do unto you. That's the Meekins Family Motto, Sir. Ja, das hat dich ja sehr weit gebracht, nämlich absolut nirgendwo. In dem Fall auf dem Boden, ja. I see, then you fainted and a colleague helped you regain consciousness. Yes, sir. He knocked me upside the head, sir. Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination. What I need here is more info to work with. Ich denke, wir können wieder die ID-Karte benutzen. Bin ich mir ziemlich sicher. Normal duty, I was assigned to guard the evidence room that day. Das ist ebenfalls merkwürdig, weil das normalerweise ja eigentlich Mr. Marshalls Dingsbums ist. Mr. Meekins, you work in the General Affairs Department, do you not? Yes, sir. I am in charge of hiring new recruits, sir. Yikes. That's a scary thought. Yeah. Evidence transferal was taking place on the day of the crime, which meant many officers were given special tasks not ordinarily performed. I was in charge of guarding the Blue Badger, sir. Von Gumshoe, okay. The Blue Badger. Yes, sir. The lovely police mascot created by the chief of detectives, sir. I was to ensure it wasn't broken during the transferal process. That was my sole mission for the day, sir. Das hat zumindest funktioniert. Keiner hat das Ding angerührt. I see. Sounds like a very important mission. After the award ceremony finished that day, there were so many people running around that I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room. Oh, so that's why you went into the evidence room. Okay, macht Sinn. Tell us, what did you see when you got there? So there's this man on the security screen and rushed into the room. Da können wir eventuell die ID-Karte benutzen, aber wir pressen erstmal. In order to enter the evidence room, you need an ID card, am I correct? Precisely, sir. I have one right here around my neck. So then, das stimmt das auch. Your ID number should be listed on here, right? Müsste dann 4989596 sein? There it is, I found it! This is the one right here. Could you please read us the number? Yes, sir. Yeah. That's my number, sir. I see. Huh. But the number 4989596. Ah ja, stimmt. Is shown as being used twice. Und wer hat 77777? Please explain, witness. It's no real mystery, sir. The first time is when I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room. And the second time is when I went to get him after everything settled down. I see. So it was during that second time when... Yes, sir. That was when I spotted the man on the security screen. Okay, IDs of all... Nah, bis auf einen. Bis auf einen. I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked. Schauen wir nochmal. So you were attacked. Can you please tell us exactly what happened to you? It was a knife, sir. A knife. Detective Goodman pulled a knife on you. What happened then? Well, with me charging in on him like that, he looked as surprised as I was. You aren't exactly the kind of person someone would want to run into. Nicht unbedingt. Doch, eventuell schon. That's when I reacted, sir. I swung my arms like an octopus struggling to detain him. That's how I got this gash on my hand. Maybe if you just kept your cool and your hand wouldn't be... When I saw the blood trickling down my arm, I panicked. I grabbed the man by his collar. I fought for my life, then I did it. What exactly do you mean when you say you did it? I know I don't look the type, but I'm really into kung fu films, sir. The man let his guard down for just an instant, so I snatched his knife from him. Ooh. You took his knife. I spun him around and performed this army maneuver. I made sure to close my eyes like a man. I see. He must have been desperate. The next thing I knew, his white coat was drenched in a sea of my blood. And then the next thing I knew, yes, he punched me right in my face, sir. Right in the guava. Right in the moneymaker. After that, I passed out until another officer smacked me awake. About what time did you regain consciousness? No offense, sir, but how am I supposed to know that? I was unconscious. Aber nicht, wenn du wieder Bewusstsein erlangt hast. Alright. According to the report from the officer that woke up the witness, it was about 5:30. He hit me right in the head, too. I woke up crying tears of pain. Like a man. That's nice. I mean, it's nice that you recovered, that is. When I came around, though, I made sure to finish my mission, sir. Your mission. Yes, sir. The Blue Badger, sir. I returned him to the entrance before things got out of hand. Ah, I see what you did there, out of hand. Well, we can all rest easy now. I believe we now have a fairly accurate picture of what happened. So ziemlich. Yes, Your Honor. Only one thing remains unclear. Ja, vor allem... Ja, wusste, dass er das nicht sagt. Wer die Nummer 77777 hat, würde ich gerne mal wissen. Suspekt. Was the man this officer murdered really the victim? He's got a point. Yes, Officer Meekins. With regard to that, sir, take a look at this. It was sent to my jail cell. Chief Gant delivered it to me just this morning, sir. The chief. Delivered it. What is that? A videotape? Yes, sir. That's absolutely right, sir. A videotape, sir. It contains footage from the security camera in this evidence room. Ja, genau das haben wir doch gebraucht. Perfekt. What? But I specifically asked if there was such a tape and was told it had been mistakenly erased. Vielleicht ist Gant mit in diesem Fall logischerweise irgendwie verwickelt, sodass er irgendwie Beweise verfälschen will, wie zum Beispiel dieses Videotape. That's quite a mistake. I just do what I'm told, sir. It's the only thing I'm really good at. Looks like communication with the police department is as good as ever. Well then, let's have a look. Show us the video of you murdering the victim. Oh, please stop using that word murder, sir. It scares me. A video of a real murder. Just what are we getting ourselves into? Snuff! My friend. Snuff. Mhm. Und der Mörder ist auf Screen, ne? Wieso pannt die Kamera eigentlich so? Das ist so bescheuert. Es hätte einfach eine Kamera in die Richtung sein sollen und eine Kamera in die Richtung. Das würde viel mehr Sinn machen. Ah, jetzt wissen wir auch, von wem das Blut kommt. Oh, okay. Die Anime-Fight. Okay, ja, aber jetzt wissen wir, von wem das Blut kommt. Auf jeden Fall von Officer Meekins. Und dann die Fingerabdrücke von ihm, weil er das Blut eben an den Händen hatte vielleicht. Also damit ist sichergestellt, dass Meekins auf jeden Fall kein Mörder ist. Er müsste eigentlich nochmal an der Kamera vorbeikommen, oder nicht? Well, I believe we are all thinking the same thing. How can we deal with these unsettling feelings stirred within us? What the hell was that wriggling piece of plywood? Sir, that is the pride and joy of the entire Criminal Affairs Department, sir. It's the Blue Badger, sir. Why am I not surprised this isn't going smoothly? Security video added to the court record. Yes, well, anyway. This tape seems to prove that the witness did indeed encounter someone in the evidence room, and some sort of activity did take place. Your Honor, instead of relying on clearly incomplete footage, the witness's testimony will suffice. Is that alright with you, Officer Meekins? Yes, sir. As you wish, sir. Okay. Mystery Man. Aber ja, man kann auf jeden Fall jetzt zumindest rein von dem Video-Footage, das wir gesehen haben, sagen, dass er auf jeden Fall kein Mörder ist. Ich denke mal, so viel ist schon mal safe. Wenn er mich fragt. Mystery Man. Mystery Meat. His face can't be clearly seen in the video. No shit, Sherlock. But there's no question that the other person was Detective Goodman, sir. I mean, he opened the locker, which required Detective Goodman's fingerprint to do. Yeah. The locker he opened is unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker, sir. So it must be him. No one else could have unlocked it. Okay, wir haben den Locker auf jeden Fall im Court Record. What's this about a fingerprint? Each detective has been given a locker equipped with a fingerprint-activated lock. These locks wobei Gumshoe ja auch gesagt hat, das weiß noch nicht mal jeder, dass man das auch mit Fingerprint eben machen kann. These locks ensure that each locker can only be opened by the detective it belongs to. Intriguing. That would mean The victim at the crime scene would have to have been Detective Goodman. Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination. I don't know where this cross-examination will lead, but everything begins with contradictions. That's where I have to start. Yes, das heißt, jetzt müssen wir wahrscheinlich den Court Record zur Rate ziehen. Moment, wir schauen mal durch. Kann man hier irgendwas checken? Irgendwas drehen? Nee? Gut. Keine Ahnung, warum wir es dann checken können, aber okay. Genau, das haben wir jetzt hier ensembled. Hey, look, they are hard to make out, but there are some dark red stains here. Looks like blood. Do you think Detective Goodman's blood somehow got on this when he was stabbed? Not likely. This blood looks like it's been here for months, maybe longer. This shows evidence in the SL9 incident that might be when the blood got on it. I got blood on it. Okay. Das haben wir auch noch nicht examined. So richtig, glaube ich. The text says SL911. I guess this is another piece of evidence from that case. You know, I never did care for the word tag. It's confusing. What's so confusing about that? Do you know how many other words sound like it? Bag, gag, nag, lag, zag. Zag, is that a word? Do you challenge me? Why are we playing a word game now? Got those bars, girl. Goddamn. Na gut, anscheinend haben wir hier sonst nix. Aber gut. Nur noch mal zum Refreshen, falls wir hier irgendwie was haben. Can only be submitted to the Chief of Police. Moment. 221. Ha. Wir hätten noch... Achso, ja, das war 11. Ja, okay. Also 21.02. Ja, okay. Okay, gut. Gut. Wir pressen ihn mal. Hat das letzte Mal auch wunderbar funktioniert. Tell me were you able to get a good look at him? At the face of the man who attacked you with a knife. Sir, if you must label people as having seen or not seen the man's face, I believe I would be classified as the latter. The latter, but you were standing right in front of him, were you not? More to the point, you are the person who fought him, aren't you? Exact. Oh yes, sir, but I didn't get a clear look at his face, sir. I'm not the kind of guy who looks directly at people when talking with them, you see? Yeah, it's a good trait for a police officer. Still, I'm sure it was him. I bet my badge on it. But there's no question that the other person was Detective Goodman, sir. Inwiefern? But you don't know that for sure, do you? You never actually saw Detective Goodman's face. Well, I suppose you might say that. That is, if you must label people as having seen or not seen it. Since his face can't be identified in the video, only you can verify it. Why is everyone looking at me? If I had to label your stares as disturbing or... Danke. Meegans. Having been shown a questionable video at best, we are not in the best of moods. Now please be more certain when you testify. Yes, sir. You claimed the man who brandished a knife on you was Bruce Goodman. Tell us why you are positive it was him. I mean, he opened the locker, which required Detective Goodman's fingerprint to do. Moment, ging das nicht auch mit einer ID-Karte? Only the assigned Detective Prince. Ich dachte, das geht auch mit einer Karte. Das hat er doch, Dings gemeint, Gumshoe. Dass es auch mit der ID-Karte geht. Also können wir eventuell die noch einsetzen, aber ich press erstmal. Ich bin mir eigentlich fast sicher. About these lockers, is there no other way to open them? Dankeschön. No, sir. I myself tried all kind of methods in the past. They only respond to fingerprints, sir. I wonder what kind of methods he's tried. If the man opened the locker's lock, which only responds to its registered fingerprints, then he must be the person the locker was assigned to. Exactly my point, sir, and this too. Locker is open. Unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker, sir. How do you know that information? I've heard rumors, sir. From people in the know, sir. People in the know. The workers in the department cafeteria, sir. They keep me informed. They also listen to my romantic troubles, sir. Also, absolut gar nicht. For the record, the opened locker did indeed belong to Detective Goodman. I verified this information through a more reliable source. So the victim opened the locker with his own fingerprint. So it must be him. No one else could have unlocked it. Nah. However, the most important detail is not shown in this video. The man's face. Sir! If I may say something, sir. Please do. After all, you're the one being examined. I don't understand why the man's face is so important in this case, sir. I mean, it was his hand that opened his fingerprint lock. Dachte mir auch gerade, ja. And it was his hand that tried to thrust his knife into my body, sir. Was anscheinend auch mehr oder weniger geschafft hat. My unsettled state can't testify enough to this, sir. Yes, you have a point. The footage doesn't lie. And my hips also don't lie. That is, unless the defense can find a problem with it. Mr. Wright, let's check the court record again. Is there a problem with the security video? Ich denke ja. Regarding the video contained on this tape, there is one thing in particular that seems rather strange. This contradiction leads to the possibility that the man may not have been Detective Goodman. Allerdings, vor allem wenn man die Fingerprints noch mit in Erwägung zieht, die wir ja am Tatort ebenfalls gefunden haben. Der Typ, irgendeiner ist noch dran, ich glaube Marshall war es ja, mit dem zweiten Fingerprint, den wir ganz links am Locker gesehen haben. This video contains such a contradiction. Interesting. Your Honor, I have a proposal. Yes, Mr. Edgeworth. I propose we have the defense point out to this alleged contradiction in the video. He would want me to point it out. Very well, proposal accepted. Let us further inspect this piece of evidence. Oops. I will now play the security tape. Mr. Wright, please show us this contradiction you speak of. I have to point out a problem in the video. It's the first time I've ever had to do that. You can do it, Mr. Wright. It's set up so you can fast forward, rewind, or pause the video. Good. Just take a look and be sure to point out the right thing. Please don't play it too many times. I can't stand watching this video. How did this guy ever become a police officer? Mr. Wright, please enlighten us. Where is the contradiction that indicates the man may not be Detective Goodman? Moment. Fast forward und rewind. Okay. I know it. Moment. Indicator lights when Dingsbums open. Na, nicht. Ja, doch. Nein. Nee. Das wollte ich doch gar nicht. Play video again. Go, 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 go. I found it. I found it. Keiner ist da und trotzdem ist das Ding schon open. Was war Pause? Backspace, okay. Können wir das einfach hier Present? Ich mach's mal hier mit. Nee, können wir gar nicht. Okay. Got it. Aber ne. Es ist doch da, mein Gott, es ist offen und es ist keiner da. Man. Es ist 100 Pro das. Come on. How about that? Officer Meekins. Sir, do you mean me, sir? As I understand, the locker apparatus works like this. Wusste ich's doch. When you grab the handle, a sensor reads your fingerprint if it's a match. The light turns on and the lock is released. According to my very limited experience, that's the way I understand it, sir. Du benutzt die Lockers jeden Tag. Wieso ist es limited? If so, then something is seriously wrong with this picture. Hmm? Wahrscheinlich war es Mr. Marshall. In diesem Trenchcoat von Goodman. Genau das. When the victim reaches for the handle to open the locker, let's rewind to a little earlier. Soll ich's machen? Nee. Und ist mir noch irgendwas rausgefallen? Notice the light. What's this? It's already lit. Yep. Precisely my point, Your Honor. The locker was already open before the victim grabbed the handle. Order. What's the meaning of this? It's very simple, Your Honor. The locker wasn't locked on the day of the crime. Bitte? But the locker locks are controlled by an electronic system. When a door is shut, a sensor is triggered. And the locker is automatically locked. Oh, I know, it must have broken down. Of course, I'm not an expert on this. That's not likely, Your Honor. The sensor would detect and report any malfunction. Oh well, just goes to show novices should keep their mouths shut. So then, Mr. Wright, do you have an explanation? Me, Your Honor. Yes. Why wasn't the locker locked? Me, Your Honor. Yes, well, you see, this isn't exactly my field. What do you think, Miss Scientific Investigator? Well, maybe something like jammed the system sensor? Something jammed the sensor. Say, there's something else that seems out of place in this video. Yeah, I thought so too. There's got to be another clue somewhere in this footage. Ja, ich weiß es. Very well. Let's inspect the video once more. The locker wasn't locked. Ja. Ich weiß es, ich hab's ja auch schon erwähnt. Es ist dieses Ding, was runterfällt. Das Ding fällt runter, weil das Ding ist, dass das ganze Lock nicht komplett, ja. Bam. Got it. Please watch closely. This is the continuation of the part I showed you earlier. Genau. Das hat quasi verhindert, dass Detective Goodman den Safe komplett zumachen konnte. Was also erklärt, dass es auf jeden Fall nicht Detective Goodman... dass es hundertprozentig nicht Goodman ist. What's this? Something white fell out of the locker. But sir, it's been my experience that things fall out when the doors are opened. I often fall out and roll great distances when I open my car door, sir. We can't be sure. That item was completely inside the locker to begin with. What do you mean? The sensor triggers the lock when the door is shut. What if something was inserted, say, between the sensor and the door? Inserted. So dass die Tür nicht vollständig schließt. Genau so sieht's aus. Der Rubber Glove. This white thing wasn't inside the locker. It was stuck between the door and the sensor. Oh, I understand now, sir. It's just like my tie. 2 out of 3 times it gets stuck in the door when I get out on my patrol vehicle, sir. Instead of the door closing, my tie chokes me. But the object would have to be extremely thin to fit in the door. Not only that, it would also have to block electrical currents. It would need to be an insulator. Yes, an insulator, but at the crime scene. There just might have been something that fits the description. But sir, by insulator you don't mean... I think I finally got this figured out. Very well. Will the defense please present the relevant evidence? What was this insulator that was stuck in the locker door? Natürlich, le rubber glove. Boom. I found this near the locker, a thin rubber glove. But we can be sure that was in the victim's locker. Das Ding ist rausgefallen, wir haben es eindeutig gesehen, also ernsthaft. It has a tag that says SL9 incident. The video seems to depict the victim opening the locker. But that isn't the case. The lit lamp attests to this. On the day of the crime, even I could have opened that locker. Is this not so, Officer Meekins? Sir, it would appear to be, sir. Gotti. Order. So, are we to believe then that the victim, whom this witness stabbed in the evidence room, was not Detective Goodman? Do not be misled, Your Honor. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? Ich meine, wenn ich mir auch die Koteletten anschaue, generell von dem Film, von dem Video, nein, von dem Foto gerade, das wir gesehen haben, beginnt, würde ich sagen, es ist fucking Marshall. Sieht zumindest so aus. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? The defense has merely demonstrated the possibility and nothing more. The victim in the video was indeed Bruce Goodman. The prosecution will offer one more testimony to prove this. What? Officer Meekins, please testify about this. Sir, me, sir. I'm not sure what you're referring to, sir. Nice try. This is in order. Oh, you mean that, sir? Of course, sir. This is a joke. Da bin ich auch nicht ganz sicher. Very well, begin your testimony. Let's hear it, big boy. Mystery Man 2. Mystery Meat. There is one other thing that proves that the man was Detective Goodman, sir. To enter the evidence room, one must use their ID card. When an ID card is used, there is a record of it. At the time of the crime, the detective had used his card. Yeah, an ID card record, I see. I have the ID card record right here, Your Honor. Ja, wer ist der allererste? The ID used at 5:14 is that of the victim. Just before the crime. Yes, without a doubt, this is the victim's ID. However, one thing does strike me as unusual. Several hundred cases should have been due for transferal. Why were there so few people using this room? This particular evidence room is only used for storing certain special cases. Special cases. Extremely violent cases involving police staff. Just hearing that makes my hair stand on end. Me too, although it doesn't make much of a difference. There were only a few cases up for transferal there, and most were cleared up by noon. Right, I see. Now let us move on to the cross-examination. Wieso erwähnt keiner, dass da die allererste Nummer 7777 ist? Ich will wissen, wer das ist. Ich meine, gut, er ist um 4 Uhr, was war es, 30 oder so, glaube ich, reingekommen. Deswegen hat er vielleicht keine Relevanz. Aber trotzdem ist es interessant zu wissen, wer die 77777 ist. So, unlike your earlier testimony, you believe this to be rock solid, do you? Yes, sir. Solid as stone, sir. If my hand wasn't wrapped in bandages, I'd give the V for victory sign, sir. Couldn't he just use his right hand for that? Let's hear him out fully. As we've seen, one never knows what he might say until the very last second, allerdings, ja. Können wir die ID-Card präsenten? Is that card hanging from your neck one of these ID cards? Yes, sir. This card right next to my cuff, sir. I keep it here so I won't ever forget it. What if someone were to steal it from you, keeping it out in the open like that? Maybe I shouldn't wear it around my neck. Remember when I said 2 out of 3 times my tie gets stuck when I get out of my car? Well, the remaining time it's my ID card that gets stuck. Instead of the door closing, my ID card chokes me. Maybe I should just leave this one alone. At any rate, each police officer has only one ID card. Both the police department and the prosecutor's office can attest to this. Please proceed with your testimony. Wir pressen ihn einfach mal nur. Bisher haben wir noch den Courtroom noch nicht gebraucht. Deswegen machen wir weiterhin mal Press. Vielleicht kommen wir damit zum Punkt. Vielleicht reicht es gegen ihn. Let it be noted that this is the record the witness referred to. Let me see. Yes, that would be it. Detective Goodman. What's the matter? According to this, Mr. Edgeworth, your name is on here. So it is, Your Honor. No, not that prosecutor again. Is that man in blue a murderer? Don't stare at him. You've got the wrong color, kid. Kid. It would seem the inquiry committee will want to speak with you again today. I have nothing to be ashamed of regarding my actions or their consequences. For now, let us continue with the cross-examination. Poor Mr. Edgeworth. It must be so difficult for him. Du bist ebenfalls auf der falschen Seite, meine Liebe. Earlier, I believe you testified that when you asked the man to show his ID card, he pulled a knife on you. Yes, sir. He didn't show me any ID card, sir. Don't you think that's odd? I mean, if he had his ID card, all he had to do was show it to you. There wouldn't be any reason to draw a knife. Maybe you just panicked? Everything stems from contradictions. Let's point them out. What do you think? I'm confused. What? The problem with his ID card testimony is far too obvious. It's not like Edgeworth to miss something like this. You're thinking too hard about it. Come on, let's show them what we've got. Oh, cool. One other thing that proves that the man... One. Ich denke, wir können auch mal die ID-Card benutzen. Nice. Wait one moment, Officer Meekins. I'm not good at waiting, sir. I have the victim's ID card right here. I found it at the crime scene. That makes sense. Nicht wirklich. When I say crime scene, I'm not referring to the evidence room at the police department. I mean the other crime scene. The underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. Your Honor, I have one more piece of evidence to present. It's a very important clue regarding the victim's ID card. A lost item report. It's only half completed. But it shows that Detective Goodman had lost something on the day of the crime. Something important enough to fill out this report. The ID card, wahrscheinlich. Let me guess, you believe there's something to be his ID card, right? I can't say for sure. But here's a high... There is a high probability. On the day of the crime, Detective Goodman was not carrying his card. Order. So now, what does this all mean? It can only mean one thing. It doesn't even require much thought. The man Officer Meekins encountered in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman, but rather the man who stole his ID card. Was wahrscheinlich Officer Marshall sein wird. Order. Does the prosecution have a response? I have only one thing to say to the defense. Bravo, Mr. Wright. Bravo. Allow me to summarize the defense's argument. At 5:15 p.m. on the day of the crime, the man in the evidence room Officer Meekins encountered was not Detective Goodman. There are two grounds to support this. Der hilft uns aus. Wunderbar. Also, Mr. Edgeworth, lass hören. First, the locker in the evidence room was already unlocked. Second, the victim lost his ID card. Am I correct so far, Mr. Wright? Yes. What's he up to? Denke ich mir auch gerade, ja. That being the case, we must inevitably arrive at a single conclusion. If the victim in this video is a fake, then the murder in the evidence room is also fake. In other words, the security camera does not show the instant of the murder. That is... well, I guess that's right. Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Only moments ago, you seemed content to be pointing your finger around. This isn't going to end well. Your von Karma is showing. Well, it seems you finally realized exactly what you've gone to such lengths to prove. Explain yourself, Mr. Edgeworth. The defense has already done the explaining for me. The victim in this video is a fake, which means a murder did not take place at the police department at 5:15 on the day of the crime. So, allerdings, ja. So the real crime could only take place at one location, the underground parking lot. At the prosecutor's office, the murderer being Miss Lana Skye, the defendant. The evidence is compelling. A trustworthy witness observed the moment the defendant used the murder weapon. Ah. Nicht schlecht, Mr. Edgeworth, okay. I knew the testimony was way too shabby. It was all a trap from the beginning. Wir haben aber immer noch den Abdruck von Mr. Marshall von dem Locker. The activity in the evidence room still leaves many questions unanswered. Who exactly was the victim Officer Meekins encountered? And where did this person disappear to? Ich weiß, wer es ist. However, this trial's purpose is to examine only the murder of Detective Goodman. Just so, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, you have to do something or else Lana... What do I do? How am I supposed to get myself out of this mess? Object. One moment, Your Honor. What now, Mr. Wright? Don't tell me you're objecting to what you've just proven. Of course not. But I almost walked right into the prosecution's trap. What are you talking about? This cross-examination has proven one thing and one thing only. The security video did not show the actual murder. Es hat gar keinen Mord, weil es keinen Mord gab. Aber ja, es war auch, es ist 100% Jake. Es kann nur Jake Marshall sein. Außer irgendjemand ist noch reingelatscht, aber das glaube ich in dem Fall nicht. Kann ja gar nicht sein. Und vor allem, warum wir ihn nicht sehen, dass er jetzt hier nochmal vorbeiläuft, ist auch ein bisschen grenzwertig. However, it cannot be said that it is unrelated to the murder in the parking lot. Ja, exakt. Specifically, large amounts of blood traces were found in the evidence room. The defense demands further examination into the truth of the matter. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor. If this court were to examine this further, other witnesses will be necessary. Is the prosecution prepared? I'm sorry, Your Honor. The prosecution considered the incident at the police department to be unrelated. We have not prepared any other witnesses for the incident. This just might be my chance. Time to call a certain Texas Ranger to the stand. Mr. Wright, do you mean... Your Honor. The defense would like to request a specific witness. Oh, whom do you have in mind? Someone we have reason to believe knows the truth behind the activities that took place in the evidence room. The prosecution requests to hear this person's name before deciding whether or not to comply. Very well then, Mr. Wright. This person whom you would have testify. What is his or her name? Yes. Yes. Officer Jake Marshall. Why him? I can't let Edgeworth know everything just yet. He is in charge of the evidence room. I feel we should hear what he has to say. The prosecution agrees to the defense's request. Since he was responsible for guarding the room, we should hear his testimony. Fortunately, he works in the police department. We shouldn't need longer than 20 minutes to prepare. Recess? Very well. The court will take a 30-minute recess while the witness is subpoenaed. Will the prosecution please prepare the witness during this time? Bisschen die Nase pudern am besten. We will, Your Honor. Court is now in recess.